Okay, we're live with another great episode of Lunchtime Talk with Steve. Today we are going to talk about what everybody else on the internet is talking about. The two shootings that you saw, one of them in Indiana and the other one in Georgia, in Brunswick, Georgia. You know, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. So today I actually have a guest that's going to be here with me, and I'm going to introduce her right after this. But go ahead and share the link with your friends, your relatives, your favorite groups, with all that good stuff. Um, Let me do the same here, and I'll be back with you in just a second, okay? All right, one moment. Go ahead and share it out with your friends and everyone. Hey, Terry, what's going on? I see you watching. Marlon, I see you watching. Thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you share it. We're going to be talking about a lot of different, we're going to be talking about the two shootings that happened recently. Um, the ones in Georgia and the one in Indiana. So we'll talk about those in just a moment, okay? For right now, go ahead and share it out with your friends and everyone else. And we're going to take a couple more seconds and do that. And then after that, we will start the show. All right, and let's see. I'm hoping you guys can hear the theme music because I made sure I play the theme music so you guys can hear it while I'm doing this. So let's see. All right, so there we go. We are going to introduce our guest today, and our guest today is Prathea. She's out of Tennessee, and she has strong opinions on what's going on as well. Pray, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. All right. So what we're talking about today is, as you heard, is the two shootings, and some people don't realize that there were actually two. There was one in Georgia where that happened back in February, and that was the one where the young man was jogging and he was, just approached by these group of white guys, and so they said they thought he was a burglar. He was jogging. He didn't have anything with him, and no burglary tools. He didn't have anything that was supposed to be stolen. Nothing at all. And they went ahead and they a fight ensued, and they shot and killed him. So that's one of the ones we're going to talk about, and then the one in Indiana, um, where the young man was actually leading the police on a chase, and he was streaming it live on Facebook. Then he got out and he started running, and the police shot him and killed him. Then started making jokes and making fun of the entire situation. So we're going to talk about those two things today. Um, and let's see, I'm still sharing it. I'm actually sending it to another group that I forgot to send it to. So let me start by showing the video if people haven't seen it yet, so that they'll see what we're talking about. And I'm gonna share my Facebook screen so you guys will see. Let's see, one moment, one second. Facebook is a little bit slow on that. And the link that I'm sending to you was actually shared to me by Susan. So she sent this one over to me. Now this is another one I'm going to share. I'm going to show right now, which is actually what do you call that? This one is the Essence magazine. So you guys should be seeing the one from Essence magazine right now. This is a picture of the young man that was shot in Indiana. These are the things that sometimes you're not going to see in the media because the media never tells you the good side of the person or whatever the backstory is. They just tell you the person ran and that was it. But this gentleman was actually he was actually a vet, as you can see, and that leads to another question. I mean, how do we know he wasn't suffering from PTSD? He didn't have mental issues. How do we know any of these things didn't come into play? And honestly, they didn't care. They just, shot the young man. So we really don't know what the situation was. Um, so let's go back pray. What are your thoughts on this story? Are you there? Can you hear me? And pray, can you hear me?
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me better now? Pray. And for you guys that are watching, I posted the link in here. If you guys want to join into the conversation, just click on that link and let me know, and we can go forward from there. We can join you into it as well. Okay. Um, so pray. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Thumbs up. Thumbs down. Okay, you're breaking up really bad. Is there a way that you can connect, can you connect using your computer or can you hook up to your Wi-Fi instead of your mobile? I don't know. We'll get back to
I might have
pray.
to message.
We'll get back to pray in just a little bit. But let's go ahead and talk about the situation. I am still looking for the video because I did see the video yesterday. Um, of the young man that was shot, and I really think that video was taken down now because it was there before. Now the video looks like it might be gone. Let me see. I know it was on Susan's page. I'm gonna go to her page and see if I can find it. But I want to hear what you guys are thinking. I want to hear your thoughts. If you have a thought on the story, if you don't, if you haven't seen it, whatever, talk to me. Let me know what's going on with the whole story. If you guys know about it or not. We also hear. Why am I still sharing that page? Okay, no, it's not sharing it. We also hear about where the people were saying that they were in fear. And I mean, there are all kinds of stories about it. I don't know what the official story is because right now there is no official story. The investigation has been, I don't want to say botched, but it's been, mishandled so much that right now no one knows the official story. From what I heard this morning from the police chief in that area, watching the news story, they were saying that they're inviting the Georgia Bureau of Investigation into to help out with the whole thing. Because really, how can you? This the gentleman that was in there that did the shooting. He was involved in the police department. He was, I believe, he worked in the DA's office as well. He worked in the sheriff's office. So it's like his friends are so ingrained in the system there. how can we prove or how can we trust that everything is going to be done the way it should be? That's one of the things, one of the problems. I'm still waiting to see if Prey reconnects. Oh, there she is. She reconnected. Can you hear me better now? Hey, Prey, can you hear me better now? All right. I don't know. Maybe in Nashville, you know how it goes. I don't know. She's not hearing me. But it's so weird, and I mean, I don't want to keep jumping back and forth between the two because, of course, there's the two different stories. And here's a picture of the young man in his full uniform. Let's share that screen out. I'm going to share the screen with the young man in his full uniform now. So we can see that this was not, the gangbanger. This is the one in Indiana, by the way. We can see this is not the gangbanger guy that we would like that the media would like to tell you he was running from the police. He was a terrible guy. He was this. He was that. This man served this country, but none of that mattered when he got out of the start. Again, yes, he shouldn't have run. We agree on that. He should not have been running from the police. We agree on that. But millions of people run from the police every
Yeah.
day without being shot. So all I'm saying is he should have been treated with the dignity and respect as any other citizen. Um, can you hear me now, Craig?
Hey.
Can you hear me now? That's on like a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? Good. I don't think she can hear me because she keeps the picture is freezing. So I want to hear what you guys are thinking, though. I want to hear what you are all thinking. Is this something? What are your thoughts? And I know one of the things too, because I'm running for school board member. A lot of people are saying, well, you shouldn't say anything. You should stay out of it. No, why? Here's the thing. Why would you want to vote for someone who doesn't want to stand up when the issues come to their front door? When the issue comes to your front door, you want to be the one that would say, I'm going to fight. And with the work that I do on the Diversity and Equity Committee for the school board, with the schools and the children that are in the juvenile detention center, all these different things that I do, why would I stay away from this issue? This is ridiculous. It's not just an issue that is happening in one area. As we see, we had the two shootings in 2 days in across the country. One in Indiana, one in Georgia, in Brunswick, Georgia. This is not just things that are just in those areas. This is in every area. You see it so much. Now, again, I want to also say that most police officers are great people. I would say probably 99.9%, but it only takes that 0.01% that stains the badge. That's why we need everyone to stand up when something is wrong. We understand the blue wall. We understand that police officers say, it's a brotherhood, it's this, it's that. I have a brother, and I tell you, if my brother's wrong, I tell him he's wrong. If I'm wrong, he tells me I'm wrong. Just because we're brothers doesn't mean that we have to always say you're right when I know for sure you're wrong. Because you got to remember something. When you put that badge on, you don't put on a badge just to say I'm going to stand up for the next guy. You put on that badge to say you're going to protect and serve the community. That's what we need to do. So if that means telling your brother he's wrong when you see him doing something wrong, tell him he's wrong. Don't just don't just tell him he's right and cover it up. Pray when you hear me. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, just jump right in.
I wish I could, Steve. You're kind of breaking up.
Man, I think you might have to go on your Wi-Fi instead of your mobile service because sometimes the service in Tennessee, I don't know, out in the boondocks and all that stuff.
I am on my Wi-Fi. Is there any way I can switch to my computer maybe
Yeah, definitely. You can use the same link on your computer.
instead of my phone?
Right, you can go to the same link on your computer. I'm gonna drop you from here and go ahead and join on your computer. Yes. So I dropped her from here. She's gonna reconnect using her computer. I'll send her a message on here to let her know. But yes, we definitely want to make sure that we put that point out there. We are not saying that all cops are bad. No one is saying that. And if anyone is saying that, that person is a total idiot. I'll be straightforward with you. That person is a total idiot if they say that all police officers are bad. Because you got to remember something. When you are in trouble, the first thing you do is you call for one of them officers to come in and help you. All right. So if you're sitting there saying all cops are bad, you're an idiot. You're dumb. You're stupid. And yes, I said those words. Quote me on it. But again, that what I am saying is the police officers, the maybe one or two that may be in a force. You could have a force, and again, I'm just going to use random one. I'm not picking any statistics. I don't have any statistics, so I'm not quoting statistics. But I'm just saying, you may have a force, and let's say Los Angeles, that's a huge city. That's a huge county, because LA is a county and a city. For some that are going to say, no, it's not a city, it's a county. Another say, it's not a county, it's a city. It's both. So if you look at a force the size of LA, and they have thousands of police officers, it only takes one to stain the entire force. Because the one you see on TV, people are going to say, wow, all of them. No, it's not all of them, it's just that one. So if you are wearing a badge and you are sitting in a patrol car or whatever next to that guy, or you're in a call with that guy, and you see that guy doing something wrong, it is to your advantage that you tell him, don't do that. Because now he makes you look bad. He makes not just you look bad, but all the others around the country look bad. So when you see that, don't cheer him on. Don't go and join him in the stupidness. Because here's the thing, we tell the same thing to our kids all the time. Don't go join your friends and when they do something wrong, because when they get in trouble, you're going to get in trouble, and it's the law. If five of us go out there and we rob a bank, it doesn't make a difference that only one guy had the gun and only one guy asked for the money. All of us are going to go to prison for strong arm robbery of a bank with a weapon. All of us are going to catch the same charge. Same thing with the police. We have to make sure that we tell the oh yeah. As a matter of fact, here's another France was saying, look at what's happening in New York City. Also, that's true, because what's going on in New York is when it comes to the social distancing, which is another issue. When you see other communities, and there were like, you have the funerals at in the Hasidic Jewish community, and hundreds of people are in the streets and doing everything, not a problem. There was a black guy that was not wearing his mask, and the police officer threw him to the floor and to the ground and started punching him. And, I mean, it was crazy for a mask. That really only should have been a civil citation. It should have been a ticket that said, "Hey, you should be wearing your mask." But it didn't. It wasn't that. It came to the thing, and that video is also on Facebook. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna look that up now. I think it's on YouTube. But the video is on there with the police officer beating up the guy for not wearing a mask. But then you see other communities not wearing a mask, and it's okay. It just turns into a, hey, don't do that. I mean, again, people keep telling me I should stay away from these topics because I'm running. I think I should jump into these topics more because I'm running. I mean, let me know what your thoughts are, but I think we can't stand silent. You can't stand by the side and see people doing stuff and pretend that it's not happening, because sooner or later it's going to come to your front door. sooner or later it's going to be someone you know. You know, just like with this whole COVID-19. Okay, in the beginning we saw the president saying, "Oh, well, you know, it's just one or two," and we really didn't think much of it in the beginning until we started knowing people that died from it, and then it's like, "Wow, this is real." It was real before your friend died, but it's just that it wasn't real to you. Same thing. We see these things happen in Indiana, New York, Georgia, and I'm down here in Fort Lauderdale. And I might think, yeah, well, you know, it's not happening here. Well, let's talk about it so it doesn't happen here. Let's talk about it so there won't be another one of these things. I mean, we've had so many. We had Michael Brown, Fernando Castillo, Trayvon. I mean, the list goes on and on. I could list hundreds. And yes, literally hundreds. So for those of you that say, no, not hundreds, look it up. There are hundreds. But we don't really talk about those, you know? I don't know. Let's see. I'm looking for the video and see if I can find that. Okay, here it is. This is actually an NBC video. I'm gonna show you guys in a second. Now, for those who would probably say, "Oh well, you know, the guy did something, or he incited it, or whatever." However, because you know, there's always the person that's gonna say these things. It's always gonna be. So let's see. Let's go to our YouTube. Okay, now you guys should be seeing YouTube. Now I'm gonna take this back a little bit because he said I'm gonna take this back a little bit because he said he was slapped and he said he was getting aggressive. Let's take it back to the beginning because I want to see that aggression. I want to see what the aggression looks like that they're talking about. Okay, I'm gonna bring up the screen so you guys can see it a little bit bigger. But let's see what he's talking about when he says aggression. Hold on, watch this. Let's go back. Because notice, I didn't see the guy coming towards the cop. I see the guy backing up and the cop coming towards him. But hold on. Okay, so that is their take on this. Let's see now. Their take is that the police shouldn't be enforcing social distancing, which is probably true. But that cop wasn't wearing a mask either. I mean,
No.
wait, that cop wasn't wearing a mask. I'm like, wait a minute. So who's gonna give him a ticket or arrest him for not wearing his mask? And
Hmm.
he definitely wasn't practicing social distancing because he walked up towards this guy with his taser pointed at him. I mean, the guy was far away. He walked towards him. So I mean, where are we with the social distancing thing? Now again, as the police commissioner, now notice that was a commissioner. He said he was disturbed with what he saw. Pray, I think you can hear us now. So go ahead, talk
Yes.
to me. What are your thoughts?
That was disturbing to see. I haven't seen that footage before until now. That is disturbing to see because the police officer obviously did not have his mask or anything on. And then he approached that young man in both those situations where the guy with the beard approached the guy with the black hoodie on, and then the one that I saw in the street, that white cop just came up and grabbed the black guy by the neck. I
Right.
mean, this is just ridiculous. Like, I don't understand it. Like, why are they having to um, use such force or whatever just to enforce, like, hey, wearing a mask? Like, could they give them a ticket? Could they give them a fine? Could it be some other method than to
Well,
handle force? I don't know.
and you know the thing is that's what it should be. It should be just a ticket. It should be just a citation, which is what they're given. I mean, it's like it's just a regular civil citation that they're given, or they should be given. It
Yeah.
shouldn't get to this point. I
No.
mean, and the thing is, what gets me is when we see people doing these things, it's because they've become so comfortable doing it, and they've gotten away with it so long that now it's like I can do this in public and nobody would say anything.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that's what I'm wondering about today is like, okay, what do we do? Because we don't have a Martin Luther King or, some of those people who were really advocate, or maybe I'm not aware of them. They may exist. I may not be aware, but it's like, how can we start lobbying and changing laws against these types of things instead of just sitting back and we just keep looking at it and allowing it? I mean, I don't know what else to it's almost like I don't know what else to do because it's like, you know, me having nephews, and I have 4 nephews and they all range from 18 to 36. And it's just like, that's troubling to see because um, you never know if they're going to get stopped or harassed or something happens or whatever. And it's just like, we shouldn't have to live like that.
Well, and the thing is, and you brought up a good point when you said we don't have a Martin Luther King, a Malcolm X, a Medgar Evers, those kind of people, but we actually do. And you know what? We are those
Yeah.
people.
Okay.
Individually, we are those people. We need to be the ones to go out there and vote. That's number one. Because when we don't vote, and you know how many times I hear people say, "Oh, I don't vote." Oh no, when we don't vote, then I mean, it's like we open the way for people that we don't want to be in that seat because if we vote, we'll have more people that actually would say that would represent us. And again, what I need to make this clear when I say represent us, this is it may be a racial issue, but a lot of times people that represent us don't look like us. And we need to realize that because a lot of our organizations were started by whites, and we have to realize that. A lot of our HBCUs, and you guys know if you went to some of the HBCUs, you know how many of them were started by white organizations or by whites. Everyone was not a Mary McLeod Bethune. All right, so
Yes.
we need to realize. But the thing is, we have to vote for people that stand up for us. Joe Biden was the first one to come out and say, "Hey, listen, that wasn't
Yes,
right."
he was.
He didn't care what the other people were thinking. Joe was just like, "Hey, that's not right. We got to do something about this."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Whereas I don't see a lot of our black politicians, governors, mayors, whatever, regardless of where they are, I am not hearing them saying anything.
No.
I'm not hearing our movie stars and our singers and all them saying anything.
No. Not even some of our like big pastors,
Yeah,
they have a voice as well, a big strong voice. So and people will follow them more. So I
yeah,
haven't heard that either.
yeah. Where's our TD Jakes and our Price and all these other people, and
Yep,
where are they when these things are happening? And I'm not saying for them to go out and march or riot or whatever. I'm talking about for them to just talk to people and let people know, hey, listen, get out and vote. Make sure you vote for the because we don't realize what people went through for us to have the right to vote.
exactly, exactly. And
You
I'm a big
know.
advocate of that because I have a young niece who was like refusing to go vote because she was like, "Oh, our voice is not going to be heard." And she's 19. And so that's the mentality sometimes that we have to come against is that they feel like, oh, if I go out here and vote, it's not going to, there is not, my vote doesn't matter. And I'm like, yes, it
Mhm.
does. Because I was telling her as a woman and a black female, it's like, no, we fought hard to get to where we are. So you need to take this opportunity to go vote and have your voice heard whether regardless they mess with the polls or whatever else or whatever her justifications or explanations were, we still have to proceed and go forth. And
Exactly. I'll tell you something. When I started my campaign, the first thing I did was I went to the supervisor of elections office, and when you go to the supervisor of elections office and you get a list of all the well, first off a list of all the registered voters, and then you can see the precincts and how they vote. You can break it down by race, by sex, all different things, by age groups. And every single precinct across Broward County, even in the black neighborhoods, we were still the lowest amount of people that were voting. I'm like, how the hell could we be the lowest voters in our own neighborhood?
right.
I'm like, seriously, we should be the most voters in our neighborhood at least.
Yeah.
So that goes to tell you, even though we are the majority in our neighborhood, we still don't get out and vote. Now, there was one exception when I look back at the list, of course, when Barack Obama was running. We went out there. But other than that, no. Mm-mm. But yet we're the first ones to complain when something happens like this.
Yes.
And then when like the one in Georgia where the district attorney refused to file charges, they were complaining. But you
Mhm.
got to remember something. That district attorney is standing up for the people who voted for him.
Yes, exactly.
You
Exactly.
know, so we need to be that person. We need to vote. So let me see. Paula said hi.
Hey.
My aunt Sharon said hi. So I want to hear from some of the people too. I want you guys to drop your messages in here. Let us know what you guys are thinking, what situations are happening, and the thing is, people say, well, a lot of people say, well, it doesn't affect them, blah 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 blah, whatever. It does because we have so many. Okay, I'm 50, and I'll tell you, when I was growing up, to think of being 50 years old was unthinkable. It's like, what? I'm gonna live to see 50? Nah. And I know a lot of people that grew up in my neighborhood in Brooklyn that felt the same way. Live to see 50? No. And it's crazy that as a young black man in America, you have to think that way. But that's the way it was. It's like to see life past 25 or maybe even 30 was like, really? I could live that long? It's crazy.
And that makes me
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, that makes me sad because like I literally am tearing up because yeah, what did she say? Oh,
She
I
said she don't think we should mix the two shootings. One in Georgia was murder. The one in Indiana was highly provoked and looks like suicide. Right. Okay. And Paula, yes. And you're right. The one in Indiana, the two of them are a little bit different. The reason why I did want to talk about both of them today was because not because the one in Georgia in Indiana was murder, which it could still be, because at that point he didn't have a gun, or they still haven't said that he had a gun, I should say. So there wasn't any reason to shoot him that many times. But the reason why is because we need to also look at the case in its entirety. This young man was a vet. We don't know if he suffered from
That's
PTSD.
true.
We don't know what he suffered from, and that's one of the issues. Police officers aren't even thinking about mental health when they pull a person over or anything like that, or even before you get to that point. Use before you get out the car and put yourself in danger. Use the loudspeaker. Talk to, say something, whatever, before you put yourself in that situation. But this man was a vet. He went out and fought for this country. I think they could have at least given him the 5 seconds on the loudspeaker to say, "Is hey buddy, what's wrong?" or something like that. Maybe I don't know because I tell you, I have a friend that has an organization that he deals with vets, and sometimes they can be great. One day they could just fall into depression or something could happen, you know. So I think the reason why I'm mixing these two is because I really think that they could have given him the benefit of the doubt and talking to him. I've seen many times where the police, with a person with a weapon in front of them, with a weapon, would talk the person down for hours. We've seen that so many times on the news. They'll hold a hostage and they'll talk them down, or whatever. But a young black man, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, shoot. No. It comes to a level of respect. And I think that that's what was missing in all of these cases that we talked about, is the level of respect. Now, again, I want to reiterate, we're not saying that all cops are bad, but it only takes that one to stain the badge. So what do you have to say, Bray?
I kind of see her point of view. I understand it, and I see yours as well. Because when I heard about it last night, I was just like, wow, okay. I was like, why is he doing all that? He's, bringing stuff on himself because he's live and he's driving crazy erratically. He done ran from him. I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? But I didn't take into consideration that, it could have been mental illness or PTSD. Because to me, it just sounded really foolish. I was like, what is going on? Not knowing the details last night. I was just like, that sounds crazy. But also too, like I'm agreeing with you with the disrespect, like the comments that were made, that was made about, just, I don't forget exactly what they said, but I know the comments were made when it was still live and that people could still hear them say things. That was disrespectful. That was very
they were making jokes about the shooting, and then they were saying his mother's going to have a closed casket and
right.
stuff like those kind of comments,
And that disturbed me because I was just like, wait a minute, why did it have to be that excessive? That's what I was just thinking.
Right, and I mean, and again, I see Paula's point as well, as far as this gentleman, and I'm looking for the video right now so that I can play it. But I see her point as far as him not stopping for the cops and things like that. I see that point. I definitely see that.
Right.
But I still think that it would have been handled differently had this young man been a person not of color. I think it would have handled way differently.
And I truly believe that too, because you look at the young man who went in there and killed all the people in the church that time, and the way he was handled was totally different.
They took him to Burger King.
Huh?
They took him to Burger King after after that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. And it was handled totally differently than it would have if it was an African American person. And
that's true. That's very true. I'm trying to find this video now. Oh gosh, I can't find it. I'm still trying to find the video. I can't find the video. Let's see. Hey Paula, you sent me the link, right? I can't click on the link from here though. That's the only thing. Let me see if I can click it from there.
She can send you the link.
Yeah, but it doesn't let me click it from here.
Okay.
All right, so let's look at her comment. The video will justify the shooting. He was fully yeah, but see, but the thing is, I'm not saying that he wasn't fully aware, but the thing is, it's like, and here's the thing. Legally, well, they could justify anything. You could justify anything legally. What I'm saying is, if it had been someone else, would they have been so quick to pull the trigger? That's my question. Because again, you could go and you can look and you can see so many different videos. Just what was it last week when the people were in I can't remember what state it was. They went to the Capitol with their guns, and they're at the Capitol.
They were in
Seriously,
Virginia, I think
seriously.
it was.
I'm not sure. I can't remember where, but seriously, let's think about this.
Yeah.
If they were NAACP members that went to the Capitol with automatic weapons, are you telling me that they would have gone the same way? You know what I mean? So it's not a matter of, and again, like I said too, we have to look at the video. We don't know what issues this young man had. We cannot be so quick to just every single time pull a trigger. There are people out there with issues. There are people out there with mental issues. People out there that whatever, and we can't be so quick to pull the trigger and then say, oh my God, oh well, he was suffering from PTSD or he was suffering from this or that. It's too late then. We can't pull back the bullet. We cannot society cannot keep accepting just killing people and then finding out later on what the issue was. We have to start talking and finding out what the issue is beforehand. And again, like I said, this young man served this country, and we don't know what the issues are. We don't know we don't know, and that's the whole thing. We don't know. We have to take the time to find out before we start shooting 14 times into a person and then making jokes about it, because death is no joking matter. And for them to even do that, it goes to their state of mind. It's like, to them, it's nothing. It's like, oh, well, another day at the office kind of thing. No, it's not another day at the office. It's not. Every killing, regardless how justified it is, a death is still going to be a tragedy. Let's see. She said the video will justify the shooting. He was fully cognizant. Okay. Facebook, what?
Why wasn't it blocked?
Why wasn't it blocked? That's true. They can block silly, trivial things, but not the high-speed chase with music playing. I gotta give you that one too, because Facebook blocks me if I play music. Hell, Facebook blocks me if I share my link too many times.
Yeah.
So for this guy to be playing copyrighted music and doing the high-speed chase live, I don't know. I mean, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna come down to it where they're gonna talk about that too, about Facebook, but.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I still think that we have to treat people as an equal. She said, "I get it, Steve, but let's just encourage our younger people to be sensible, black, white, red." Well, I don't know any red people, but the black and white, I could agree with you on. Let's see. Let's see what comes. All right. Hopefully, they didn't plant a gun. I just don't know, and let's hope they don't. But I do think that we have to start, and not start because we've been doing it for a long time. But you are right. We have to hold our younger generation accountable for some of the things they're doing. We do have to educate them on certain things. We've all had that talk before with our parents about how to act when the police pull you over, or or all these different things. So yes, but on the law enforcement side, and I have a lot of friends that are cops. I have friends that work for the state attorney, for for the public defender's office, and we also have to start to make sure that we treat every single citizen with respect. It can't be protect and serve on one side and chase and arrest on the other side, or chase and shoot in this case on the other side. We have to treat with respect, and we have to be able to say to tell the person, I don't know, especially I don't know, I don't know where to go from here. We just know what the problems are, and we got to work together to find out.
Well, I think.
Oh no, she goes. He did it for likes, and now he's gone. It's sad on the whole. It's true. Go ahead, Trey. What were you saying?
I think it starts with our communities and our culture, like you said, this education, teaching our young youth and stuff, and just people being willing to go out and volunteer and do youth programs and be with the youth. Because I am a person that I have worked with youth. I've been a youth minister. I've been a children's teacher. I've pretty much done everything. Children's coordinator. I've worked with children from ages 3 on up to 20, like college age students as well. So the main thing is like being there, being an example for them, teaching them stuff, as well as getting them out of their community sometimes to expand their horizons, to have them understand certain things, as well as like you said, just how to handle certain situations and not cause more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but not cause more harm to yourself.
Right.
So,
And,
yeah.
and a lot of times too, we are so, and I'm talking in general as a society, we perceive certain things just from from what we hear, and it forms prejudices. Like when I was in Nashville, I was going to Lynchburg, and people, mostly white people, the friends that worked at the job because I was traveling for work, and the guys that worked at work, they were like, Steve, don't go to Lynchburg, don't go up there. And I'm like, why not? And that's where they make the Jack Daniels liquor, and I was going to the Jack Daniels distillery, and they were like, they don't call it Lynchburg for nothing, don't go up there. And I was starting to get scared. I'm like, damn, maybe I shouldn't go to Lynchburg, but I ended up going, and the people were nice. I mean, when I went into the gas station, at first the people looked at me like, "What the heck is this guy doing here?" Like, I mean, I definitely stuck out like a chocolate chip in a glass of milk. Okay? but they were nice to me. Everyone was nice, and I'm thinking, if I had listened to these people and not go, I would have this idea in my head that Lynchburg was a bad place because I was told that. I was also told the same about what's it, Shelbyville,
Oh yeah.
and different places. Now I've seen some issues in Shelbyville on TV, but still, when I pass through there, nothing. Now I'm not saying that that's going to be everyone's situation, so still be careful where you go. But we can't just make up our prejudices based on stories that we've heard from people. And in the same way that we can't just say that again, and I keep saying it all the time. I know I keep saying it. We can't just keep saying that all cops are bad because we might see one situation every so often with a cop. There's still a lot of great cops out there that would take the shirt off their back for you.
They are. Yeah.
Because I'm a member. I actually am the president of the board of trustees for a school here in Fort Lauderdale, and the school is AMI kids of Greater Fort Lauderdale, and what they do is when the kids come out of the juvenile detention center, they come there, and before they transition back into their regular school. And we have great police officers that come through there, probation officers that come in there. They on Wednesdays they'll come and sit and play chess with the kids, and they talk to them. They talk to them and get to know them. So I see the good side of a lot of these cops, but
Yes.
yeah.
That's true. And I do too. Like I can't say I haven't seen good cops as well. So I have seen some good cops. And there was a police officer that had an influence on my life when I was younger. He used to come in. They used to have this program called DARE program. And he used to come in and he used to speak to us. And like I would see him around the neighborhood and I still would speak to him and different things like that. And he had a great impact on a lot of us in that community. Just because he came out, he got to know us, he spoke to us and just stuff like that. So yeah, no, I remember having or being around good police officers as well.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in New York, where cops used to live in your neighborhood, even in Florida, when they used to live in your neighborhood and stuff like that down in Miami, and it was a little bit different then. Now you have cops that live up in Palm Beach that patrol down in Miami, so they never get to see these people. They only see the people in that area as suspects. Because for those of you who are not familiar with Miami and Palm Beach, you're talking about a good 45-minute ride, so It's crazy, you know.
Yep.
So I think that we have to get to the point where we go back to the police officers being in the neighborhood, coming to the schools, talking to the kids. You know, I
Yeah.
remember when everybody wanted to be a police officer. Now it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. No. Mm-mm.
So yeah, those are just a couple of the issues that we were talking about today because these are things that just have been happening, and again, people tell me because I'm running for office, I shouldn't, dip my toe into that water, and I really think I should because we have these same issues in the schools,
Yes.
and we have issues where one child would get a slap on the wrist for something that another child would go to jail for, or we have these same police officers in the school as our school resource officers. So I mean, you look at, let's say for example that the officer that shot this guy and then made a joke about it. What if in September he's a school resource officer at your child's school? Are you gonna feel just as comfortable that hey, no problem, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't feel that comfortable if I walked in and saw that guy as a school resource officer at my kid's school. Now, again, and I keep saying it because I know people are gonna say Steve said something about cops. No, I'm saying
No.
most cops are great people, but it only takes one to stain the badge. And when you see that one do something wrong, it is your right, well, not your right, your job to say something to him because you're there to protect and serve the public, not to protect and serve that person's ego. You know.
This is true.
So Pray. So what else? What's your final thoughts on these stories that we're talking about? Because I gotta wrap up.
Okay. I think my thoughts are just with the parents and like the families of both of these victims.
Mhm.
I know one was controversial more than the other, and one is more like looks like straight clear, like this was just straight up murder. Because the young man would run the same route for years. So I get it, but I just want to like send my condolences out to the families and stuff and the friends because that's a loss, that's a hurt, that's a pain, and that's something you can't get back.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's my final thoughts.
All right, and I tell you, I mean, same here. I send my condolences out to the families, and also it's like we also have to look at the aggressors as well, and I hope that they actually see what they did wrong. I hope that sometime in somewhere down the line they see, hey, wait a minute, I shouldn't have done that, or even the people that were with them say something. Well, actually, you know what's so crazy is I feel that the guy that was in the truck behind them actually it touched his heart. Maybe God touched him because that's the only way that that video was released.
Yeah, that's true.
So yes, he actually felt bad about that. So I'm thinking that that would probably stop the next person that's thinking about doing something like that. It'll stop them from doing something, you know, like just going out and shooting an unarmed person. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know what would make a person sit there and say, "Hey, Bob, let's go out and shoot somebody today." What what goes through your mind to make you think that? You know?
Yeah.
But I would hope that the next person that's thinking something like that would just remember that, hey, that person is that's a person. They have a family, they have a mother, a father, brother, sister, whatever. They have kids. Either way, it's not worth it, man. Don't take a life. It's not worth it.
Mm-mm. No.
All right, Pray. I'll talk to you later. Like the head wrap. Pretty cool.
Thank you. Good day. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Definitely. And I want to have you come back again another time. Whenever you want, you just let me know, okay?
Okay, I will do.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Stay safe.
Yeah.
Practice social distancing. If you guys got to go out there for anything, wear your mask. Stay 6 feet from the next person. And if you know someone, a relative, a friend, a neighbor, whoever that does not have a vehicle, help them to get to some of these places that are giving out food. All right. It's this time that we got to take care of each other, okay?
Yes.
All right, guys. As always, stay safe. Take care of each other. Peace.
Thank you. Bye.